The first thing Mara noticed about the alien was his silence. Not the absence of sound. His footsteps echoed softly against the crystal corridors of the Calarian citadel, but the way silence clung to him, as if the air itself leaned in to listen when he passed. He was taller than any human she had ever seen, his form slender yet powerful, skin shimmering with a faint metallic hue that shifted under the pale starlight filtering through the ceiling panels. His eyes were not a single color but layers, rings of silver and deep violet that seemed to observe not just her body, but her intentions. Mara reminded herself why she was here. She was not a guest. She was not a friend. She was a human envoy, selected by Earth's coalition to assist in the fragile negotiations with the Keeler Dominion, a species ancient, technologically superior, and emotionally distant to the point of legend. The Calarians did not trust humans. They barely tolerated them. And yet, for reasons no one on Earth fully understood, the Dominion had requested a single human liaison to remain within their capital for one full rotation of their star. Mara had been chosen because she was calm under pressure, because she listened more than she spoke, because she had survived first-contact disasters that had driven other diplomats into early retirement. None of her training had prepared her for him. "Envoy Mara," he said at last, his voice smooth, resonant, and carefully controlled. "You will reside in the Eastern Wing. You are not to leave it without permission." "I understand," she replied, keeping her tone neutral. He studied her for a long moment, head tilting slightly, a Calarian gesture of curiosity. "You do not display fear." "I do," Mara said honestly. "I just don't let it make my decisions." Something flickered in his eyes. Interest, perhaps. "I am Kaldar," he said, "commander of this citadel. You will answer to me." Mara inclined her head. "Then I suppose we'll be seeing a lot of each other." She did not miss the faint pause before he turned away. The days that followed were structured, almost ritualistic. Mara attended observation councils, offered human perspectives on interstellar trade, and answered the same questions repeatedly about Earth's intentions. The Calarians were meticulous, logical, and emotionally reserved to an almost unsettling degree. Except Kaldar. He was always present, but never intrusive. Always watching. Sometimes speaking directly to her, sometimes addressing the room while clearly measuring her reaction. Mara sensed that she was not merely being evaluated as a diplomat, but as something else. Late one cycle, as she reviewed translated data in her quarters, the door chimed. "Enter," she said. Kaldar stepped inside without escort. "This is not a scheduled meeting," Mara noted. "No," he agreed. "It is not." The door sealed behind him. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The room felt smaller with him in it, charged in a way Mara couldn't quite define. "You have altered the Council's projections," he said. "Your suggestion regarding shared energy grids changes our long-term calculations." "You asked for human insight," she replied. "That's how we avoid conflict. Interdependence." Kaldar moved closer, slow and deliberate. "Among my people, prolonged proximity indicates intent." Mara swallowed. "And what intent do you assume I have?" "That remains unclear." He stopped less than a meter away. She could see the subtle patterns moving beneath his skin now, like constellations shifting. "You are different from the others," he said quietly. "Your species reacts with fear, aggression, or submission. You do not." "Maybe we're just better liars," Mara said lightly. His lips, thin and sharp at the edges, curved slightly. "Perhaps." Then he turned and left, as silently as he had arrived. Mara exhaled only when the door closed. It was during the third week that everything changed. An alarm shattered the Citadel's calm, lights pulsing crimson as defensive systems activated. Mara was jolted awake as the walls hummed with energy. A moment later, Her door opened. Forced override. Kaeldar entered, armor partially engaged. "There has been an internal breach," he said. "You are to come with me." "An internal breach?" Mara echoed as she grabbed her boots. "From who?" "From those who believe your presence is a mistake." They moved quickly through corridors now filled with Calarian guards. The air vibrated with tension. Mara's heart pounded, not just from fear, but from the realization that she was no longer merely an observer. A blast rocked the corridor ahead. Kaeldar reacted instantly, pulling Mara against him as energy fire-scorched the wall where she had been standing. She felt it then, his strength, his warmth, the subtle tremor beneath his calm exterior. "You are injured," she said, noticing a dark fracture in his armor. "It is irrelevant." "It's not," she insisted. They reached a secure chamber, sealing themselves inside as chaos continued beyond the walls. Kaeldar finally staggered, bracing himself against a console. "Kneel," Mara ordered before she could stop herself. He looked at her, surprised. "You're bleeding," she said. "Sit." "That's not a request." Something shifted in him then. He obeyed. As she worked to seal the wound with a medkit adapted for Calarian physiology, their closeness felt different now, not charged with curiosity, but necessity. "Trust." "Why protect me?" Mara asked softly. "You could have let them take me." "They would not have killed you," Kaeldar said. "They would have used you as proof that humans cannot be trusted. And you? I would not allow that." "Why?" He hesitated. "Because," he said slowly, "you have altered my perception of your species. And of myself." The alarms eventually faded. Reinforcements arrived. The threat was neutralized. But something irreversible had already occurred. That night cycle. Mara could not sleep. Her door chimed again. She knew who it was before she answered. Kaeldar stood there, no armor now, only ceremonial robes. His eyes were darker, deeper. "Calarian bonds are rare," he said without preamble. "We do not form them easily. But when we do, separation causes deterioration." Mara's breath caught. "You're saying, I am saying," he stepped closer, his voice dropping, "that your presence stabilizes me." He leaned in, close enough that she could feel his breath, warm and unfamiliar. "Stay with me tonight, human," he whispered. The words were not a command. They were a plea. Mara searched his face, looking for manipulation, strategy, political calculation. She found none. She reached for his hand instead. "Only tonight," she said. "And only if this is what you want, not what you think you need." His fingers closed around hers, careful, reverent. "It is both," he said. The cycles that followed were quiet in a way the Citadel had never known. Mara's official assignment eventually ended. Earth recalled her, satisfied that relations had stabilized. The Dominion offered no objection, only silence. On her final day, Kaeldar walked with her to the departure platform. "You will leave," he said. "Yes." "And you will return?" Mara smiled sadly. "Humans live short lives, Kaeldar. We don't make promises across stars lightly." He considered this. "Then I will wait without expectation," he said. "That is also a form of loyalty." She touched his chest once, over the place where his heart beat. "When humans say stay with me," she said softly, "it doesn't always mean forever. Sometimes it just means this moment matters." His eyes softened. "This moment," he replied, "will endure." As her ship lifted into the void, Mara watched the Citadel shrink into starlight, knowing she had changed more than treaties. She had changed a species that believed itself incapable of connection. And somewhere in the quiet halls of the Keeler Dominion, an alien commander stood alone, no longer fearing the silence,